Welcome, mobile wires. Video games in my eyes are a form of art. There's so much art happening when creating a game that it makes a perfect form of interactive content. Digital models alone are a form of art. Whether it is pixel art, hand-drawn animation, or 3D modeling, they are all forms of art that come together to create an animation, another form of art. There is so much attention to detail in nearly any video game's atmosphere to the point where a screenshot of the game could work as a piece of art alone. Every game has its own feel, which art museums also share. The map design is also really important. Looking at games like Glyph, they are able to take 3D models they made and make a world designed around movement and made with the intention of feeling abandoned for years. Celeste has my favorite level designs hands down. Maddie said that each level they designed, they thought of a story that connected to that world, that connected to Madeline. By playing through each level in the world, you are experiencing a story with shortcuts for experienced players. I made a video talking about video game music not long ago, and it did pretty well. I was happy with it. But music and audio design is one form of art that connects everything together. Without sound, the game would be less enjoyable and interactive. You get a better understanding on how you were supposed to feel when playing a Mario game with the audio design. This is one of my favorite pieces of art when looking into a new game, with some games doing it a lot more cleverly than others. Box art, mostly used to sell a game on store shelves nowadays, is a form of art. You need a graphics designer to design the cover art that catches your eye, sells the game, tells a story, and has feelings by just looking at it. There is some box art that can just immerse you into the game before you even put it into the system. My favorite being the North American Breath of the Wild box art. It's the Great Plateau where you can see all the big events happening, showing off this amazing looking open world game. Link is staring at the world with you, giving off this feeling of exploration. It's so good and fits the game how it should. No deceiving the player into thinking it's something else. You know exactly what you're getting into once the game is in your cart. Some games have reversible covers now as well. I thought it would just be a fun thing to include. Manuals are another form of art as well. Sadly, they are starting to disappear with the digital age, but games like Fable 3 do theirs right. It looks like an old book worn down and made by hand. Another story built into the case itself. A lot of games used to do this, with most games having the manual still included with art books inside. I never was a huge fan of manuals, but Fable 3 was the first game to make me appreciate how much effort went into telling you about the game and how to play it. Game preservation scares me. There's so much art that goes into every game that it makes me want to preserve what I have. Other forms of media are a lot easier to preserve than video games. Emulation works, but always has downsides to it. Artificial hardware will die eventually. I'm happy that everything from the Xbox One and onward will be compatible with each other, but eventually, these discs are going to rot. Game licenses will disappear, hard drives will corrupt, and this art will be lost forever. The first time I felt this was recently when playing Terraria. I had a sense of nostalgia that I never wanted to go away. I wanted to preserve it instead of having it for the sake of having it physically. Yes, there is a PC release, but other games don't have that luxury. Sorry, I went a bit off topic there. But video games are a form of art just like every other form of online media. Just because it's a little harder to preserve a game than something like a movie does not mean it doesn't deserve a future as well. It makes me appreciate the games I grew up with even more because of how much effort goes into every single game. And if you still don't believe me that video games are indeed a form of art, just like any other online entertainment, I'm shocked.